All right, everybody. Liars Pacifist here for another new episode, another new interview for you. Don't know if you could tell by my voice. Been under the weather a little bit, but thankfully nothing had to get canceled. I bounced back just enough to be having my energy for it, and I didn't want to have to cancel this one especially because I was really looking forward
Thanks, man.
to it. I feel like I have a lot in common. I feel like with my guests in some different ways. And but who I'm joined with is Regis from the band Voxx. They're from Florida. Um, Not sure how long you guys been around. It's been about 2018, 17, something around there.
Yeah, we started in 2018, towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, did you guys all know each other from the area, from other bands, or?
Well, usually I don't know how it is in other states. Here in Florida, yeah. First, before thanks, Will. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah,
Really,
no
really
problem, man.
happy. Yeah, we knew each other from playing cover bands and that kind of stuff. And then we brought some people, and we had COVID 2020,
Yeah,
as
man.
everybody know, and we had to take a break, and we did a little. You got to reinvent yourself. We brought
Yep.
some other people. Some people were not available, and as any other band, pretty much I'm the one that remained from the first lineup. So let's say, but
Okay.
everybody that I'm playing now, whoever's in band, in Voxx, they're all friends, people that I met throughout shows and things like that. So it's
Well,
pretty much
awesome,
how it
man.
works here.
And then for you yourself with Voxx, and then the people that came in later for the Voxx as we've known it today, was there any kind of vision that you had for what Voxx was going to be? Because when I first heard you guys, Never Look Back and Backstab being the two songs I checked out first, first thing that struck me is that there's a genuine kind of quality for the music, and that it felt like it was approached in a very honest way, not really trying to be real flashy and really big, but instead just come from the heart, right?
Yeah.
And so it made me really want to reach out to you guys and see if an interview could happen, because that's kind of stuff I like bringing onto the podcast. I like the music that gets you feeling something, and this made by people that just really love what they do. So was that what Voxx was always supposed to be when it set out to be Voxx as a whole band?
Yeah, mainly, for example, when it comes down to writing the music, it starts with an idea. It's just like
Mm-hmm.
baking a cake.
Right.
We have the idea, the script. What do we want to write about it? So I pretty much write most of the lyrics. We have some co-writers with us. We just bounce
Right.
ideas, but it has to be. I like to, for example, being the lead of the band. I don't like bragging about this, but it is what it is. But it
Right.
has to be something that you're feeling. Yeah, I'm not gonna write something that has nothing to do with me or life in general. So all those songs, all of them, there's no exception. They all have a meaning behind it. So that's just we just want to be real.
And that 100% comes through with the music, man. I've pretty much listened to every song up to this point, and every single one of them hit that way. You
Thank you.
know, I, so what you say, 100% of it is true.
Hmm.
And I completely agree with you, man. If you don't 100% feel something that you approach, you set down to write it, or um, you just don't want it to be phoned in. You know what I mean? You want it to really connect, because the music is supposed to be that cathartic thing
Hmm.
for yourself. You write these songs because you're feeling something, and you want to get
Right.
it out in some way, and you hope it helps somebody.
Right.
So having these songs be about real things in your life that you experience out in the world, I'm 100% with, man, because I don't really vibe with music that is um, just it exists to be like a top 40 hit. Like that's the only goal that the song has, right?
Hmm.
The time and place for that music exists somewhere, even if I still don't think it should. Because without it, maybe the music industry wouldn't even exist, because I guess there's got to be placeholders,
Oh
maybe.
yeah.
But 100% real music, which Vox is a completely that, is always always the route to go with music, in my opinion. So I agree with you there.
Thank you, thank you,
Um,
thank you.
and then these other guys with you, man. What have they brought to the table for Vox since you've been with them?
Most of the guys, that have been, we have been through probably three different lineups. Right now, we took a little break, like about 6 months. Some
Uh,
of the guys, couple of them, they had, previous commitment, other bands commitment, jobs. So we had to
right,
do, evolve. We have to.
right,
So the guys that are with me right now, we all have the same mentality. So everybody, we're in the same energy, if that makes sense. We're
yeah,
not trying to be rock stars, because when you expect that, you know nothing happens. So we're not
yes,
chasing a dream, we're just playing because we love it. And now we're going to have no show. Our show will be different when it comes to lighting and lightning, and all the production part will be different. And everybody that's on board right now, matter of fact, we had a rehearsal last night, we were just talking about this. Everybody's in the same vibe, and it feels so good, man. It feels so good, because I put my cards on the table. I said, this is why I had this band, this is why I started. And everybody's like saying, everybody's in the same. So we're writing new music. And I'm sure when we come out with the new music and the new show that we're going to come out, there will be, people don't know what's coming. It's going to be fun, it's going to be good, and that's what we're doing. You know what I mean? Whatever happens after, happens after.
yeah.
So
Take everything as it comes, I guess.
right.
Don't expect too much, but don't expect nothing at the same
Yeah.
time, sort of. Just you roll with it, and that's good, man. Being able to check in with the people in the band with you and be honest with each other and open. That's kind of critical, because there's so many bands in our history of life that they dissolve because they just don't want to be open, because maybe they're afraid of how it's going to be received. And so that's where you get that animosity kind of start to fester, and like resentment and
Right.
distance.
Mhm.
So I like hearing that you guys will do the rehearsals. I like that you'll put everything out on the table and the guys will talk about how they feel. That's critical, man. That's going to speak volumes down the road,
Right.
for as long as Vox is a thing. So I always love hearing when, bands are like that, because I don't
Right.
like hearing about dysfunction. Not to say that, little things can't happen, because people will be people. And I hear the term all the time that bands are like a band of brothers. There's going to be some fights or whatever you want to call it sometimes.
Right.
That's just going to happen, but it's how you
Part of it.
handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's how you
You're
handle
right.
it. But
You're right.
and just briefly, I was kind of dying to touch on this with you when we were talking about it. This this Linkin Park cover or tribute band that you said you did, man, what made you want to stop that? I mean, I understand that you might have said initially to me some reasons, but that sounds like something that was probably a lot of fun, just kind of pouring your heart out from these songs that you just have so much respect
Yeah.
for. Being able to see the other fans of that band, that rush and the adrenaline from that must have been just crazy.
Yeah, it
And
was amazing, bro. I'm a huge Chester fan. I have a huge picture of him here at the end. I'll see if I can turn the computer.
yeah,
Um, I started that band with my buddy Jack. They still playing, not as often.
uh,
Everybody from the band, they lived in Orlando, so it's about two and a half, 2 hours from me. It was very hard to get everybody together, and I wanted to keep Vox, so it was just not working. It was more logistics. We're still
okay,
friends with them, and we were gonna play a show in November all together. So, but I even told Jack, I said I really miss singing those songs because they hit home. You know what I mean? They really do.
oh
And
yeah,
Chester's a huge influence for me, huge, huge. And I
I
like
can hear that in your voice.
every
Yeah,
show that we'll play. I used to tell everybody right before. Actually, we play like maybe one, two songs, and I used to tell them, "Hey, listen, I'm not trying to pretend to be Chester. I'm not trying to be an impersonator, but." I could feel the songs. You know what I mean? I will do it my best, the best of my abilities. But yes, I really, they know this. I told them and I said, guys, I really miss singing with you guys because those songs were really right there in the heart, man. It was
yeah.
good.
What's the song that you like to sing the most
Ooh.
when you were doing that?
Honest, will it would depend my mood the day, because
Okay.
there's so many. There's so if I would
Yeah.
be pissed off that day, my wife just pissed me off when I'm leaving the house, or my kids,
Yeah.
or work. I used to like to sing "Giving Up." That's really right in your face, and you
Yes.
know, a day that will feel good will be like maybe I don't know. There are quite a few. Uh, I don't know, man. There's so many good ones. It's
There
hard to pick
are.
one or another. It would depend more on my mood that day. You know what I mean? But they're so you're good, bro.
Yeah.
Um, I'll send you some day quote today over the mail. um, so it's just his lyrics, the band's lyrics were right. Everybody would fit in. You know what I mean? Everybody would feel it. So yeah,
Yeah.
I really do miss singing those songs.
I mean, I meant to ask you if you could give me the name of that tribute band before we talk, because I wanted to see if there's any footage where I could hear some of the the performances and stuff. Because I actually really like looking up cover bands for Linkin Park and
Hmm.
seeing people's takes, and a lot of them do try and get the whole trying to get Chester's voice down instead of using their real voice for the songs. And
You can't.
that, that's it's impossible. You might get close, but he had a very unique voice. I
Right.
remember, if you remember the back in the making of the Meteora album. I don't know if you
Hmm.
watched the
Yep.
make. They had someone come into the studio, or maybe Chester went somewhere, and they had someone analyze his voice. And this guy said that you have so many different layers in your voice when you're singing that it's insane what comes out of your
Yeah.
vocal cords. It's
Hmm.
very unique to you, and he hadn't seen anything like it. So, and that's probably the case for most people in their vocal cords and stuff. But for him in particular, it's always better when you sing with your voice with the Linkin Park songs. As long as you put the feeling in the
Right.
words and everything, that's what people are gonna want. You
Yeah.
know.
They don't want
So
a copycat. No.
yeah, exactly. Which is one reason why I'm kind of glad they went the route they did when they came back, whether you like her or hate her.
Right.
Uh, I think it was the right move.
I
But
think so.
getting back onto the Vox talk, um, since it was the first song I heard, man, and I showed it to my wife too. Uh, and Never Look Back and Backstab I listened to in the same day, by the way. So technically, you could say either one of them is the first song I heard. But Never Look Back was the one that I showed my wife, and she thought it was pretty cool. But I want to ask you about putting that one together, because I feel like it's, in my own opinion, a little bit more of a dynamic song for Vox. All your music is dynamic. Just put that out there, man. I'm not saying that one is more than the other, but just
Right.
the way this one's put together, it hits in a certain kind of way. So, how long did that one take to write and get, to a point where you guys felt, okay, this is ready to be put out there and for people to hear?
Which one?
Never Look Back.
Okay. That song was very interesting because I had our producer, another friend of ours, Jimmy, to put together. Jimmy came up with the idea. Him and I talked over the
Mhm.
phone and Zoom and all that kind of stuff. Um, it took quite a few months. It really did. That song we had, I think, was top 20 or 40 on the Billboard indicator. It's not the Billboard itself. There is a let's say a layer underneath.
Right.
So those bands that are in there, they might move to the Billboard. So I never thought the song will get that far. Again, there was no expectations, but it was a very very unique process the way we did this. But I would say a few months it took that song, bouncing ideas, and yeah, that song is a lot of people love that one. A
Yeah. It's
lot of
easy to
people.
see why. it's
Yeah.
it's really easy to see why. It's a great song. It hits you hard. For you personally, man, what channeled that lyrically for you?
I think that's when more relationship wise, but it depends. Everybody identify with those lyrics. It depends where you at. So
Uh,
most of the time when I'm there, it's more like when that song goes almost hand to hand with Backstabbed. So it's
Mhm.
like, when somebody messed up and they betray you, or they, let's say you had a breakup, or you got fired, or a friend of yours, and you're never gonna look back because it's time for me to fly away. I'm away
Right.
from this negative environment, the toxic environment, and then I'm gonna fly away. So like we say, break my broken wings. It's just like, I gotta go. Goodbye. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You never look back. It just, it's about the future.
Yeah. And I feel it. I've had a lot of instances in my life, whether it's a job or somebody I used to know, a friend, where it just, you gotta do the hard thing and just sever that tie, and you just don't look back or even think about going there again,
Right.
because you're just most likely you're gonna find yourself right back in that same
Full circle.
hole or circle, yeah, that you got out of. And the whole point was to not be in it. So,
Yes.
and that's exactly what we're talking about when we say genuine, real, passion filled music that has a point to it and a message,
Right.
whether the message is like intricate or simple to connect with the person listening. And obviously there's the open interpretation where the person can take away from it what it means to them.
Right.
But it's a great song, man. I almost wanted to do a review for that one for a third for you guys, but I felt like at that point it would be
You're too
spoiling
funny.
you. uh,
Uh,
but yeah,
it's fun
it's
to
hard
play
to
live. That song to
choose.
play live, Will.
Yeah,
Don't mean to cut you off, but
yeah,
man, that song is so good because it has a lot of, like you said, dynamics.
yeah.
So you start very slow, and then you just boom, just hit them, and then there's a break, then you pick up again. So it's never a monotone song. You know what I mean? There's a
No.
lot of, up and down, and it picks up and it stops. So it's very, very cool to perform live.
Is it the track for you guys live that gets the most rowdy crowd?
Uh, yes, that one. Sometimes Close My Eyes, Backstabbed get the same vibe, and you look at people, they're bobbing their head, and you have those people that
Underdog
never heard
sounds like
you,
one that would too.
right? And
Yeah,
that's when you get that feedback. And honestly, um, performance for me, live performance is my favorite part. I like the studio part. It's tedious. Yes, you got to go to the details. But man,
yeah.
live performance, there's nothing. When you're locked in, there's nothing, for me, there's nothing better. The only two best thing is, let's say when you have a kid, that's something that, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
it's just they're in the zone. So it's amazing. Live performance for me, it's like, that's what I crave. You know what I mean?
Have you had any moments in your time of performing live on a stage in any band where you've had a fan come up to you and say that a song of yours has saved their life or done something for them in their life in a positive way?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
that's got to be the
Times.
ultimate payoff, man.
Yeah. If you first time I heard, there was a lady, and she held my hand. I was shaking people's hand from the stage, and I don't remember. She said something. She didn't say change my life, but that song has so much strong meaning that she's like, "Thank you so much," and I froze. I was like, I can't
Yeah,
believe we impact one person. So it was a really good feeling, bro. Really good. I loved it.
I could imagine, man. A personal story from mine is, you know who the band Cold is?
Yes. Oh yeah.
I just recently went and saw them. I want to say it was in May. It was in May. And I'd never met Scooter before, their singer. And
Hmm.
I got to talk to him personally about their song, A Different Kind of Pain.
Hmm.
And I had a grandmother that passed away like 2 years ago, roughly.
Sorry, man.
And yeah, she was a beautiful person in and out too. And I sat and I listened to that song the night I got the news, probably like 100 plus times, man, just over and over and over again. So I got to tell him that story. And I wasn't intending this. I was kind of getting an emotional mess, but I almost made the guy cry. The guy,
Oh,
I could just see it in his eyes, and he's just like, she sounds like a really beautiful person, but he goes, it's stories like that are why I do what I do.
yep.
You know,
Oh yes.
Oh. yeah, I can imagine your feelings hearing that from that lady was the same. So
Yeah,
it's
that
beautiful.
those feedback like he got from you,
Yeah.
it means the world. You know what I mean? You can have a million streams, but when somebody comes to you and say, you know what, that those lyrics really touched me, like I had a lady that she has some disability on speech. She can barely her hearing is really bad. So
Uh-huh.
she was watching us in a show. She's reading the lyrics over her phone and feeling the beat of the song.
Wow.
So yes, and after the song, she came with her friend. I think was, I don't know, younger than her. I didn't know if it was her daughter, and she kind of communicate with me, and she's like, "I just being human." I don't know if you had a chance to read those
Yes, I
lyrics,
have. Yeah.
and those lyrics I wrote from head to toe because, and she said, this is just perfect for what I'm going through now. She's like, thank you so much. And I said, no problem, no problem. It's a really amazing feeling. What you told him, you share with him, he won't forget. I
Yeah.
guarantee you. Nope.
It was a great moment for me too, because I'd waited a long time to get that opportunity to share that with him. So, I mean, I could see if that was me in that his shoes, I'd probably just that'd be what I went to bed thinking about most
Yeah.
likely, just thinking about for days to come, and just every time I played the song, or vice versa.
Right.
But speaking on being human being, when I listened to that song, what I took away from that is basically the human way to treat people. You know, like you're human, but are you treating people with that dignity and that respect and that compassion?
Oh, you
Is
hit
what
the
I
nail.
got. Yeah, that's exactly what I got from that song.
Yeah. I don't know if you know me, but I teach martial arts for
Yeah, you
20
told me.
plus years.
Yeah.
And one of the things that even my wife says, I'm very strong about the respect that you have to
Mhm.
respect each other. And we're losing that nowadays.
Very
Everybody,
much.
right? Social media or even on the street. I'm very big of little things such as you hold the door for a stranger, the little gestures that you might make somebody's day. And when I wrote those lyrics, I won't say in a bad spot, but I was just getting tired of seeing so many people disrespect others. You know what I mean? Like when I
Yes.
say I met your representative today, I say to everybody, when you meet somebody, you meet their representative. You don't meet the person. So remember that. And I put down the lyrics, um, things like that. Unfortunately, we're losing that. And I try to tell my kids, you got to be respectful. It doesn't matter who the person is, because
Yeah.
sometimes you treat a person that you never met before with disrespect, and then a few years later you're gonna meet them and they're police officers, they're an authority, and then what, you know? So yeah, those lyrics were like from first word to last that I wrote the whole thing.
Wow,
Yeah,
man. I mean, it's one of your best songs in my opinion that I've listened to the most, because I feel exactly what you're saying. As a parent, that's the kind of spin I took from it. The world that my son will inherit after I'm gone. I wonder what that's going to look like. In what you're saying about social media, and the way just these days people are treating others. We're getting so far away from as simple as holding a door open for somebody, versus now it's kind of like, I don't want to take that extra second. It's going to inconvenience me to hold the door open for that person,
right, right.
Or instead of, I'll get your tablet open for you, buddy. Let me get your profile. 1 second. I'm sorry. Here you go.
That's awesome. How
Uh,
old is he?
6.5.
Nice.
Yeah. There you go, bud. And then just you can't have a conversation about opposing views and keep it civil and open-minded anymore these days either, man. It's like everything just spins out into like some kind of conflict anymore with that.
Yes. Yeah.
And so that song resonates with me because I'm sick of seeing it. I don't, it doesn't have a purpose. It doesn't serve you any point. It's not going to make you feel better at the end of the day that you flip this person off driving. And we all road rage. We've all been there. I'm human too, but what does that do ultimately though?
Nothing, nothing, nothing.
Nothing.
It's a
So,
weird future that we have ahead of us. Very weird. So I hope that the kids that we can pass that to them. You know what I mean? Everybody's like me first and you last. Me
yeah,
first. Selfish and So we need to at least make an impression. Like I do this with my students. Respect comes first before anything. Like the band, let's go back to the band. Like this new lineup we have, nothing bad about the guys that were in the past, but everybody wants the same. Everybody respect each other. Everybody wants it. You know what I mean?
right.
So you got to be around people that they're in the same level as you,
Yeah,
and respect them. So
yeah.
that's where we are.
Is respect so hard, honestly, you don't have to agree with them to respect them or be around them. So,
You're right.
but so man, let's talk a little bit about a little bit more about Voxx in general with the songwriting and let's talk about fan response as a collective to
Hmm.
so far what you guys have done, because there's what about 9 to 11 tracks that people can check out somewhere in
11.
that part. Overall, are you guys happy with the feedback and the reception from people? And with what's coming next, you already said it's going to be pretty crazy, pretty wild. Is it going to be a departure in some ways from what people know from Voxx, or some of that same while going just a little bit outside of that line? You
Yeah.
know,
I would say, if you ask me, it's so funny that quite a few people the last couple weeks have been asking me. Last night, one of our former bass player, which he's touring now with another bigger
yeah.
band, amazing dude, love him. He said, "So when the new music is coming out?" And I said, "Dude, hang on, we're working on it." So you ask, and so many people are asking, so people want more. I won't say we're gonna be too off track, but it would be like a Vox 2.0. Let's put that way. It would be another level. You know what I mean? It starts from an inside. The inside of the band has a better view now where we can go, because for what we did, I never thought we could write one song in my life. Now we have 11, and yes, we're not a big band with record label, this and that, but that's fine. Those songs nobody can erase. They'll live forever. You know what I mean? My grandkids can see that.
Right.
Um,
Same.
so the new ones will come, and they'll be like an upgrade. Let's put that way. And you guys are gonna like it. I'm pretty sure those people, everybody that likes the music that we have now, they will love even more the next level. Absolute, no doubt about it. I'm pretty confident.
So
So
I don't have any doubt in my mind with that. And are we gonna look at just keeping with like single format and then
no,
possibly like three track EPs, or what are you guys thinking?
I'm thinking maybe 3 to 5 EPs. Um, have the first one just 3 or 5 singles right off the bat. Because our fan base is not huge, but those people that they are fans and they want more. Like you got hooked. You're like, Regis, let me write a review. I love the music. What's coming up? What's in the pipeline? So I think we're gonna do like a 3 or 5 EP first, and just build up
Okay.
from there. And instead, just singles. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to put too much on the plate, man.
No. No.
As long as it's steady output to a point, and just get into it when the band can really crack down on it and make some good headway on it, because nothing needs to be rushed. I think
No.
you guys have that what do you call it? Uh, Not privilege. I'm looking basically when you take your time with something, right?
Hmm.
What's that word I'm looking for? I'm blanking. It's probably the brain fog I have. But I think you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Everything that
Um,
takes time, it's worth the wait. Right.
exactly, it's worth the wait. So I have no doubt that it's going to be worth the wait. I think I'm probably going to like this new stuff even more than the 11 songs I've heard prior. Will I have a new favorite? Maybe, but I
Maybe.
don't know.
That'll be
um,
cool, man. Thank you.
but let's bring up really quick one more light.
Hmm.
What was the reason behind? I have my idea, and I said it in the review for it. Picking that song from Linkin Park to cover, because it's a very emotional song, and it's not easy to tackle, I would think.
Well, first, before I recorded that song, actually, I recorded two songs for this person. That was my mom. My mom
Okay,
passed in 2019.
sorry to
Uh,
hear.
Thank you, thank you. I wrote "Ballerina" for her because she loved to dance. She didn't get to see the video, which we put a little, you know, little thing at the end of the video for her. And the "One More Light," it's, it wasn't just for her, specifically for her, but you can, if you lost somebody, just like our case, if you read those lyrics again, it fits in so many
Yeah,
boxes,
it
right?
does.
And
So
also
much.
I want to pay a little um, tribute to Chester. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't trying to copy his vocals. Tried to stay with my own identity. Yes, I have a similar range than his, but I wasn't trying to copy. So I was just trying to do something, just honor a bunch of people that we all lost, and
Yeah,
things like that.
it's. I said it in the review. It's such a beautiful rendition. I didn't expect the heavier take. But it, even though it's heavier, it doesn't hit you that it's a heavy song
Mhm.
instrumentally necessarily. Like, of course, they got the guitars out or tuned to a certain tuning, and of course they got the distortion, but heavy in the other way of just the emotion behind that comes with the song and when you're
It
listening
builds up
to
a
it.
little bit. Yeah, it
Yeah,
does.
and you guys just the way that you did it. It was just a beautiful thing. I had a little bit of a moment where I got teared up just listening to it because lines like the one more chair than you need, things like that, and then just talk about some regrets in the song and just how things like that could impact your life.
Mhm.
It's I don't know if I've heard another cover of the song that I thought was done better. To be completely honest with you, than your
Thank you.
take on it. Yeah,
Thank you.
it's that good to me. And I hope that the bands heard it. I think that would be a really awesome thing to try to have happen if they have it, because they'd probably just be like, wow, that's crazy.
I hope
Hearing
so.
that song, yeah, let's make it happen.
We just come over here, sing this song for us with
Yeah,
us.
you
Boom.
never know, man. You never know.
Uh,
But so we've been covering a lot of Vox, the songs, touching on the future for the band, the new music in the pipeline. Um, Are there any other announcements that you think you can make or that you want to make regarding Vox, or you want to keep some of that under your hat?
no. For now, we have a show next month, July 11th, in Lakeland,
Okay.
with few bands. Ashes Fall, they're not from here. I think they're from Georgia. Fracture, they're all bands from out of state, and we're the only ones from Florida. Um, Last time we played was 6 months ago. Now I had to redo the lineup with two new people. Uh, we have a new bassist, Caitlin. The girl is, oh my gosh, out of this world.
Beast.
Yes, and it just gives a different dynamic too. Have a girl, and it gives a different vibe.
Yeah.
And we have Jay, my buddy Jay, as a second guitarist, and my drummer Dennis is still there, and Jacob on a second guitarist or first guitarist. They go back and forth, which I call him the prodigy.
The
And
product.
yeah, and it's. I mean, we had a practice last night, and we just everybody's in the same page. So that's something that I would say that's what's fresh and new. And we're gonna come out, have our first show together as a new formation, with these two guys, Caitlin and Jay, and it's gonna be, dude, it's gonna be badass. It's so like I even messaged everybody today. I said it's been a while since I've been this excited to go out and play again, and I am, because I
And that's
know
a
that
good thing.
You know, we're gonna
Yeah.
have uh, people from labels there in the show, watching all the bands, and who knows what's gonna happen. Again, we talked yesterday. Let's just play. Let's just kick ass. We're not trying to be better than band A, B, C. We're just gonna do it. You know what I mean? And knock everybody's socks off.
Yeah. Man, I'll be hoping for the best for you for that show. And who knows, man, you might get something at the end of it. You
You
know, you
never know.
never know.
Never know.
But I agree with your the way you're going to approach that show is 100% the way you should. Just treat it like another live show. Go out there and show everybody exactly what Voxx is about. Enjoy your time on the stage. Let everything out up there and just hit it hard, man.
Right. Have fun. Have
Yeah,
fun. That was the biggest thing yesterday. I said to them, you know, yes, we're gonna break the ice as a new formation, new lineup, but let's have fun. You know, that's what we're doing this because we love it. So might as well just have a freaking blast. No tension. You make
yeah,
a mistake, that's live music. Every band makes it. You know, we're gonna,
yeah.
of course, avoid the best, but you know, if you make it, just keep going. Have a good time.
Yeah, I 100% agree, man. And is there any way this show is gonna have any footage that you guys are gonna post up after it?
Yes. Yes. Oh yeah. Big
Yeah,
time.
good, good. Because I'd love to check out footage from
Yeah.
that, and just see what I missed, and I'm gonna still be crossing my fingers that maybe you guys get picked up from a more like an act with more range, and maybe you get your way down to Oregon, and like I
I
said,
told you, be
man,
VIP, bro.
yeah, like I said, round of beers, I'll pay for it.
Let's go.
Just have a good time and just enjoy each other's company. But man, what else can we cover for Voxx before we start wrapping this up, man? We've touched on a lot. We talked about the music, kind of the way you approach the writing. Um, man, I don't know.
I would say for whoever is listening to us that just remember we're just normal guys. Again, we're not a huge band. We're not pretending to be rock stars, but what we do behind the scenes, we work hard. We do work hard. You know, just from everybody in the band, producers, the new people that are gonna do our marketing, promos, and so on. Everybody's gonna work hard, harder than we ever done. So we kind of sat down, you know, just were autopilot since December, and now we're gonna come out and yeah, we're gonna make a lot of noise. Yes.
I might feel it over here in my house will rattle. You never know.
That's awesome, man.
But,
That's
why don't you go ahead and real quick name off all your guys' social media? And I did post that link tree. I think I'll post it again after this interview. I think I spaced putting it in the description on YouTube for some reason. So I'll edit that in after we're done talking. But yeah, go ahead and say your socials, obviously where people could find your music, and we'll get wrapped up, I guess.
right. Well, mainly we use Facebook, of course, we use YouTube, and we use Instagram. We're using the link tree. Vox Band, you'll find us very easy. Now, if you go on Spotify or iTunes, there's quite a few bands with the same name, but you can see our logos, you can see, our music there, and
Mhm.
we don't go to too many social media because it's so hard to control everything. But mainly Facebook and Instagram, you can find us. We might start doing some Twitter and that kind of stuff. But we're very simple, you know what I mean? And we're legit. We're real. So that's that. We'd like to get more fans.
Yes, that's the goal. If I could get you
Yeah,
one more even from
please.
this, I've done my job, you know.
Appreciate me, man. I
Before
appreciate
you
you.
go, I would say for the people that watch this later, uh, an entry point for Voxx, I'm just gonna say their most recent song, "Backstabbed." Get into that one. Very high octane. It's heavy. It's melodic. Right up your alley if you like Linkin Park or bands like Shine Down or Papa Roach or stuff like that. Bands like that, right up your alley. Great song. Loved having you on, Regis. I look forward to the future. Can't wait to hear some new music. Anytime you want a review, like I said, just hit me up. I'll jot it, write it up, send it your way. And yeah, let's keep in contact, man. And I wish you the
Absolutely,
best.
man. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Hopefully you feel better.
Thank you.
And Everybody that watched us, spend a good half hour, 40 minutes with us. I appreciate you guys listening. And let's play some music.
Let's play some music.
All
You
right,
take
brother.
care, Regis.
You too, man. Be good. Thank you.